First of all, thank you everyone for coming on Father's Day. Thank you, PujyaShree, for hosting this session for us. And on behalf of HSNC, we welcome you for the youth session. Thank you.
Hari Om friends, again thanks, and this would be an informal session. Let's hear PujyaShreeBhai, and he is the scholar. The most important thing is it's not just like somebody reads something, but somebody studies something. There's a difference, and I know you guys are very intelligent people. You are our future. You have a lot of questions. This might be an opportunity to learn something, and if you have any questions, let's ask. It will be informal. Okay, so please feel free and let's hear.
Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasuva Yad Bhadaran Tanna Asuva. Dear friends, the subject that we have decided for this morning is success formulae. According to our scriptures, mainly Bhagavad Gita, but since we are together for a limited period of time, and I don't want to make it very verbose for you, so I will just give you the essence of what our scriptures say without actually quoting the verses. And then if you are interested, definitely we can go into the details with the verses and the translations and interpretations. One thing is for sure, dear friends, that we want to be successful, aren't we? Whatever we do in life, whether we study, we earn money, we raise families, we make friends, we go for picnic, we go for sports, whatever we do, our purpose is to be successful. Even when you are at a stadium, you want your team to win. Why are you there at the stadium? You don't want to see your team losing. Everybody is interested in success. How to be successful? I always say, the word success carries all the ingredients required for being successful in life. The word success itself is like an acronym. Each letter indicates a quality. S, U, C, C, E, S, S. Am I right in spelling success? The first S stands for set a goal. If you want to be successful, we need to set a goal. How many of you have set a goal in life? Have you decided what you want to be? Anyone? Yes?
Psychologist.
Psychologist, very good. How about you, Beta? Lawyer, good. Both the professions are very essential in North America and the world. Why in North America? Anybody else? Everyone else is just thinking, not yet sure what they want to do. Let me relate to you an anecdote, a true story. Some 20 years back, I was invited to speak in front of students in a school in India, Bombay. And I always like talking to youngsters. I always feel that religion, culture, spirituality, even the nation and the world can survive, as Mr. Lalitji rightly said, you are the future. If young generation accepts it, that concept survives. So whenever I have an opportunity to relate to talk to the youth, I always take that opportunity. I went there and I was told that there are going to be like 1,500 students of 9th, 10th, 11th grade, 12th grade. So I was quite optimistic that it's going to be fun for me. And on my way, when I was driving there, I was thinking, how am I going to address those young children? So the thought came in mind that I'll address them as my dear young friends like budding roses. And I went there. It was the school, Friday morning assembly. Do you have something like assembly here in schools? Every Friday morning in India, there is a practice. They have an assembly where all the school children gather. They have prayer, then they talk of some certain things. Some students express their views. Well, I was invited as a chief guest at this assembly. Principal was sitting next to me. Vice principal was there. Trustees of the school were there. And everybody started saying, somebody speaking about school. Our school is so great. We have been getting so good result. We have such luminous students who are so famous in the country. The principal introduced me, vice principal gave me something, and then the MC, the master of ceremony, said, now Guruji, PujyaShree, Bhupendrabhai, Pandya will say a few words for you. I told myself that you have left time only for few words for me, because all the time has been taken by you guys. Here it was very nice, Raleigh, I must thank you for that. You finished so quickly the introduction. But there it lasted for such a long time. And then the mic came to me. I prayed as I usually do before my talk. And then when I opened the eyes, I had thought that I'm going to address this students as my dear budding roses. And here I'm seeing those 1,500 students sitting like this with such funny faces. I said, these are all plastic roses. How can I address them budding roses? Later on, I came to know that it was not my fault. It was because of those two Alsatians sitting on my right and left. A week before I visited that school, there was an announcement that Guruji is going to come. He is such a big person. He has traveled the world. He has done blah, 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 everything. And make sure you come on time. Make sure your clothes are, make sure your shoes are polished. Make sure in India the girls have those two ponies and ribbon put on there. Make sure your nail are cut. Children, poor fellows, they were shocked. God knows who's going to come. And they were so... I always want a lively audience. I always want an interactive session whenever I talk with anywhere. So to make the atmosphere light, I asked them the question as I did to you right now, that has any one of you decided what they want to be in life? A few hands went up. I asked them, here this guy, he says, I want to be a doctor. Other says, I want to be an engineer. The third one says, I want to be a lawyer. The fourth one says, I want to be a CPA. The fifth one says, I want to be a pilot. Sixth one says, I want to be an astronaut. And there was this guy sitting right across me and staring at me like this. I said, he's sitting right on my chest, and if he keeps staring at me like this for an hour, I'll feel conscious. So I asked him, dear friend, have you decided what you want to be in life? He stood up and there he goes. I have not yet decided, but the way things are going, I'm sure I'll definitely end up being a mad person. I said, why do you say so? What else? My mom says you should be a doctor. My father expects me to be a doctor, an engineer. My uncle expects me to be a chartered accountant, a CPA. My maternal uncle, my mama, expects me to be a pilot. I can't be a doctor and an engineer and a CPA and a pilot together. And even if I attempt to do so, I'll definitely end up being mad. I said, there you are. Till you have not decided what you want to be, everyone will project their goals on you. Everyone will project their desires on you. The moment you decide what you want to be, then everybody will contribute to your goal. Once you decide that I want to be an engineer, then your mom who expects you to be a doctor, once she comes to know that you have decided you want to be an engineer, then she may suggest, if you want to be an engineer, why don't you try being a genetic engineer? It has a little bit of medicine or medical practice, medical science in it. The uncle who expects you to be a CPA, once he knows that you want to be an engineer, he will say, this is a good university, they have good engineering programs. Your another uncle who expects you to be a pilot will say that if you take this certificate, it's an online course. If you take the certificate, it will be better for you to get admission into that university. Now everyone will contribute to your goal. So in order to be successful, dear friends, the first and the foremost thing we need is a goal. Most people average out in life simply because they do not know what they want to be. U, S-U. U stands for ultimate faith in goal. You must trust yourself. You must have ultimate faith that if I want to be, yes, I can be that. Otherwise, a goal remains just fancy. I wish to be a doctor, but then if I keep doubting my own self, can I be a doctor? Am I prepared to study so hard? Even after getting degree, 2 years of residency, no work hours, just be there at 7, you don't know when you are going to return. Sometimes you have to work for straight 24 hours in residency. Have you seen your friends or some siblings who be a doctor and they residency is such a hard period, such a tough period? Oh, I don't want to do that. Can I do that? Am I prepared to do? If you keep doubting your own self, if you keep doubting your own goal, then the success is far. So we should have ultimate faith in our goal. C. Once the goal is decided, once we trust ourselves, the C stands for clarity of thoughts. Do you know something at this age, or maybe at all ages, but typical teenage and early 20s, the most troubling thing is confusion. Inside us we know that, yeah, I know certain things, I know, now I'm grown up. Especially when you are 16 or 18, if I can drive a car, why can't I drive my own life? At 18, if I can select a president of this country, why can't I select my own life? I know everything. And the fact is, we do not know so many things. You want to be a psychologist, right, beta? Who said you want to be a psychologist? Yeah. Psychologists say that you must be studying neurons, right? Do you know about neurons? No? Which grade you are in? 6? Probably not, yeah. Who knows about neurons? Good. Neurons are branches and they keep developing at a certain age. But teenage is a period where certain neurons are connected and so many others are not. So it's still in a developing stage. Those neurons which are connected with various branches of the brain performing various functions, you know that, yeah, I know now, I'm mature, I'm major. And there are so many other neurons which are yet to grow. You can Google this, you will come to know. So confusion, and it's not pertaining only to teenagers. There is a confusion at a later age also, because then at later age there are so many options. You might have observed in families, Saturday evening you want to go out for dinner. Once you have, first of all, whether you want to go out for dinner or not, then you say, yeah, let's go as a family dinner out. where do we want to go? Eastern or Western meal? You want to go Olive Garden? Are there Olive Gardens here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You want to go Olive Garden, or you want to go somewhere else? Or what is that Mexican chain? Come on, Manoj bhai, Taco Bell. Huh? On the board or something like that. No, you want to go Indian. Then somebody will say that we want to have an Indian dinner. What kind of Indian? Punjabi, South Indian, Gujarati food, or confusion. Why? Because we have many options. So everybody has some or other type of confusion in life. You need to have clarity of thought, and that involves planning. Once you have decided your goal, you have to break it up, what is known as progressive idealism. Step by step, that first 6 months I'm going to do this, next 6 months it is this, next year is this. So once you plan yourself, and that planning can be crystallized only if you have clarity of thoughts. Other C is for consistency. In Yoga Darshan, and when I say yoga, in Western world our yoga has become yoga. And when people say yoga, what the first image that comes in your mind is some physical exercises, from some breathing techniques, and that we call yoga. I'm doing yoga. Some postures, which is wonderful. But let me tell you, dear friends, it is just the tip of an iceberg. Yoga is not just physical exercises or breathing techniques. It definitely trains you, it keeps you fit. But the purpose of yoga is union. Literal meaning of yoga. The word yoga comes up from root, yuja. Yuja, to join, to connect. I was saying during Bhagavad Katha here in HSNC, the main issue today, social psychologists are worried about and concerned about world over, the main issue today is disconnection. With the social media, with various platforms, we feel that we are connected with the world. You are here, your cousin maybe in New York, maybe in California, maybe in Europe somewhere, maybe in Australia somewhere, and a little thing, you are visiting a place, you take a selfie and upload on your platform, and in next 15 minutes or half an hour you have those thumbs up and you feel good about it. Yeah, people have noticed me. You feel connected. Actually, it is illusion, because these virtual connections do not really work when it comes to success in life. And in this virtual connection, what has happened is we are disconnected with our own self and with our own people. I give an example sometimes that father and son, or mother and daughter, or father and daughter sitting on the same sofa in family, in home. They both are busy with their gadgets, but they don't talk to themselves. Father is talking to someone in India, daughter is talking to somebody in California, but they do not talk to each other. And if they have something to talk to each other, if they have something to convey to each other, you know what they do? They have a family group and they put a message on that. I'm out for dinner this evening. Communicate. Say it here. He's sitting right next to you. But it is put on a family group. I'm out for the dinner. Don't wait for me. I'll be late this night. We are disconnected with our own self. We are disconnected with our own people. And this is a big issue. Yoga aims at user to join union, connection with our own self, with our pure self. And you may ask, what is that pure self? Pure self is you without any thought, without any prejudices, without any imprints, social imprints. That's pure yourself, to connect with yourself. And another is, when you are connected with our own self, we are not far from the Supreme. The purpose of yoga is to connect us with the divine. The purpose of yoga is to connect us with the Supreme. Consistency. Yoga Darshan, written by Patanjali, Maharshi Patanjali. In Yoga Darshan, Patanjali says, if you want to be successful, Satu Dirghakala Nairantarya Satkara Sevito Dradabhumihi. You need to work for a Dirghakal. Dirghakal meaning long period. Nairantarya, consistently. Success is never an overnight thing. If you meet a successful person, you may think that, oh, suddenly he has come up. A movie star, a music person, maybe a sports person. Suddenly in one season he does so well and he achieves so much of success, he becomes so popular, he starts signing endorsement in advertising, he starts minting money, and you feel, wow, suddenly, in last season we didn't even know this person and now this year he has become so popular. Remember, we perceive that it is sudden, but success is never sudden. It is his years of efforts, it is his years of practice. It is always consistent. If you want to be successful, you have to be consistent. Dirghakala, Nairantarya, and Satkara Sevitaha. Satkara Sevitaha is to be humble, to be focused. Most of us people, okay, let me come to the next point. E is efforts. Those efforts with efficiency. Efforts focused. We find people are so restless. We find people are so not with own selves because there is so much going in their mind. There is such turbulence and we feel pity about them. There are so many complaints. They feel so dejected for themselves. They feel that nobody cares for me. My mom doesn't care for me. My dad doesn't care for me. My brother has nothing to do. Society doesn't care for me. And that makes them rebel, that makes them restless. Sometimes this attitude makes them fall into bad company, fall into some vices, victims of some vices. We are all coming from very good families, but I am talking about people which we see in the society and which we hear about them. Smoking, drugs, there is something called that digital smoking or electronic smoking. Vape. Yeah, I'm new to that. But vaping. This is an escapist attitude, dear friends. For the temporary period, they feel solace, they feel that they are away from the world, they are into their own, but this is not the solution. In fact, things are going from bad to worse. If we want to be successful, we need to put our efforts efficiently, we need to our efforts very focused in life. And that can happen only if we understand the value of life. This katha I began with an example. How many of you have heard the name of Tata, J.R.D. Tata? You have? Many of you must have heard. Dear friends, if I say, because if I ask you name of wealthiest people, Forbes 500 or maybe top 100 people, wealthy people in the world, for years it was Microsoft, Bill Gates, and he used to, like, every second he used to make $200. The calculation that came to me, every second he made $200. Tatas, if you put their own entire wealth together, they are richer than the Bill Gates. But their list, the name never appears in the list. Why? Because most of their businesses are charity. They don't own the wealth, they say. It is created by them, but they give it to the society. It is for the welfare of the society. So technically, it doesn't belong to them, though they are the creators. So their name never appears in the list. But if you put their entire wealth on paper and evaluate it, they are the richest in the world, not in India. And this wealth is created by J.R.D., Jamshedji Tata. I want to tell you an anecdote with what happens with J.R.D. J.R.D. had a friend, and obviously when he's a friend to such a big industrialist, he was also someone in life, successful businessman, successful industrialist, quite wealthy. J.R.D. once asked him that, I observe you have a very good home to stay, you have quite a good collection of expensive cars, you wear branded clothes, branded shoes, you wear expensive perfumes, your lifestyle is quite on a higher scale. Only thing I observe is that you use a very common, very inexpensive pen. I mean, it's so cheap, the pens that you use for writing. Why is it so? This guy says, Mr. Tata, the point is that I'm quite forgetful, I'm quite careless. I lose my pens quite often. J.R.D. asked, why? No, maybe while signing I put a pen and then forget to pick it up. If someone asks for a pen from me, I would lend a pen to him and then I will not remember to collect back and it's gone. So I'm very careless about things. That's why I don't take chance. But yes, I am concerned about my carelessness, because I know it's not a good attitude, it's not a good quality, it's not a quality at all. J.R.D. say, will you do what I say? I said, yeah. Buy the most expensive pen for yourself. I said, no way, I'll lose the next day. J.R.D. says, just do what I say. Even if you lose it, you have enough money, you are not going to worry about it, but just try it. Buy the most expensive pen. And this man goes, buys the most expensive diamond-studded, like the pen which runs into $250,000. I've seen such pens, that's why I'm saying. So he bought such an expensive pen. 6 months later, when he met J.R.D. Tata, Tata asked him, what about your pen that you had bought 6 months ago? Is this here? Right here. J.R.D. asked him, didn't you lose it? He said, no. How? That person says, it's such an expensive pen, $250,000. So I always remember, if I give it to someone, I remember that I have to take it back. Even if I sign, I immediately put it in my pocket. Why? Because I know its value. GRD says that you are. You were using cheap pens and you knew that they are not valuable, so you were not bothered about them. You cared least about it. But now that you have an expensive pen, you know the importance, you know the value, and you are careful. So carelessness was not your fault. Carelessness because you were not paying attention to it. Once you know dear friend, what I want me to say is, if you know the importance of something, if you know the value of something, you will be careful about it. If you know the value of life, we will be careful about life. If you know the value of time, we will not waste it. If we have the value for health, we will keep ourselves fit. We will watch what we eat. We will make sure that we exercise. We go for a run. We go for a walk. We take good care of ourselves. And if you don't value yourself, so these people who fall a victim to vices, simply they do not value their own life. And at a point they say, what's the use? No, there is a lot of use. The very fact that you are on this earth in this body means that the existence values you. The existence expects something of you. Put in the right efforts to be successful. Make good use of yourself, your time, your talent, your emotions. That's very important. S is for sincerity. Dear friends, I have observed that successful people are very sincere in what they do. A football player, he gets up at 5 in the morning, he finds himself on the ground at 6 o'clock, he runs, he works hard, he practices till late evening, and that's how he becomes. One has to be sincere. If you take a sport, say football, as a leisure activity, then you can be a national hero. Are we taking our life sincerely, our goals sincerely? Sometimes there are people who take their life as a leisure activity. They don't take seriously. Whatever happens, whoever calls, sat there, went there, slept for unlimited period, wasted time, and not just time but wasted life. So sincerity is important. And last S is satisfaction with result. You might have heard a very famous verse of Bhagavad Gita, 47th verse of the 2nd chapter, which says, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Our domain is karma. What we get is decided by the existence. Most people do not sometimes enjoy their success simply because they are not happy with the result. Oh, I studied so hard, but I didn't get the result. Point was, he did not study enough. Because karma and phala, action and result, are always proportionate. But we always overestimate our karma and we always underestimate our results. And that's where unsatisfaction comes in. So satisfaction is very important. You must know how to enjoy what we have achieved. That gives you the boost, that gives you the fillip to go to the next level. Success. Have you understood what are the qualities? Have you remembered what we discussed? May I ask you a few questions? Who remembers this acronym? Success. SUCCESS. The first S stands for set a goal. Good. U, ultimate faith in the goal. Yes. Did you write in your mobile? It's good if you have. Okay, no problem. C, clarity of thought. Another C. As far as my knowledge goes, we have like 20 people, 25 people, and only 3 people have answered. Consistency. E, efforts. S, sincerity. Another S, satisfaction with result. So this is a success formula. Now another rule. When I sit with elders, my talk goes on like 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes 5 hours. You can see on my YouTube channel. Sometimes I speak for 6 hours at a stretch from the Vyaspet. But when I am with youngsters, I know your attention span is quite. So I'm not going to talk much, and I'll throw it open to the house. Now you may ask questions pertaining to what I talked or anything that bothers you in general about our religion and life.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Laliji.
What a fantastic way of remembering things. Success, as long as you know and remember the spelling, which most of you would, and now you'll be successful, you'll be the heroes. And I see a lot of faces here who are, these are very brilliant of our community. Futuristic lead, some of them knows Gita.
Is it?
Adhyayas, at least 2 or 3 adhyayas by heart.
Who are they? I would like to know.
There are quite a few who would know the. I can see some of these faces here. Who all knows Gita? Now? Are you shy? Yes.
Which chapter do you know, beta?
Chapter 16. Chapter 16.
Chant first verse. Abhayam sattva samshuddhi. Can you stand because it's better for him to? Yeah.
Avayo sattva shuddhir jnana yoga vyavastitihi dhanandamachayannasya swadhyaya stapa arjavam.
Very good, beta. Very good.
Anybody else? I know some of the brilliant people here, but I don't want to put you on the spot. But yes, please go ahead. Let's
They should
have some
they should steal the spot. Laliji, all right.
Oh, these
They should take the limelight. Here I am. I know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, really, they have put in a lot of efforts. They are very inquisitive people, very brilliant people. Go ahead. What do you think? Are you going to be successful? What are the obstacles? How you can help your friend? Forget about you. What about your classmates, your friends, your siblings? Do you have any suggestions for them? Can you ask any questions on behalf of them? How would you help them? Anything you can think about? Okay, how many of you know things about Hinduism? What is it?
I know that Hinduism follows karma, what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
Very nice. Anybody else wants to add anything? Yeah, I'll switch this. Anything else? Which book you know that many religions have some book to refer to? Do you refer to any book for Hinduism?
I mean, well, like Hindu, so like other books, so like in Islam they've got like the Quran, in Christianity they got the Bible. Like in Hinduism, I mean, aside from the Vedas, it's just like mostly like a set of like, scattered scripts and stuff, right? So like, I mean, one of my favorite things about the religion is that you can follow like the values that are like, like most important to you and like your family.
Tell me your name, beta.
Nero.
Nirav.
That's right.
Nirav has put a very good point, dear friends. And this is one of the questions when I talk to youth world over, it comes up that other religions have only one book to follow, while Sanatan Dharma, more than Hinduism, I would say Sanatan Dharma, because Nirav, when we call ourselves Hindu, Hindu word does not appear anywhere in our ancient scriptures. Neither in Vedas, nor in Mahabharata, never in Purana, nor in Bhagavad Gita, nor in Ramayana. Hindu is a title given to us by Persian historians, and we have accepted that title, especially after the British rule in India. Our true identity is Sanatan. Sanatan meaning whose origin is not known. It was always there, and since it never originated, it is never going to end. It will always be there, because whoever has an origin has an end too. But that which is without an origin is going to be endless. So Sanatan meaning eternal. Our thoughts, our idealism, our Rishis say it is darshan. I don't want to use the word philosophy, because in Western world they have philosophy, and the word philosophy comes from the Greek root philosophize. To philosophize is to think, to analyze, to conclude, and to an extent to bind, to impose an idea. That's what philosophize means, and from that the word philosophy comes. If you see other translators, they will say Indian philosophy. Indian never have philosophy. Indian people have darshan. Our books, our holy books are known as darshan. Darshan meaning what we have seen. What one thinks may have an opposite opinion, but once you see something, there is no scope for other opinion. Thinking about color, the thinking may vary, the thinking is endless, the thinking may be contradictory, but once you see this, now all of us sitting in this hall, we have seen this. Can there be a contradiction? Can there be a different opinion? Can someone will say that this is white, and she will say no, I think this is yellow. Other will say no, I see a tinge of red in it. Other may say that no, it is black. No, there cannot be. Why? Because darshan is clear, no confusions. Bharatiya darshan is so. Nirav beta, there is a difference between philosophy and darshan, and now we, as you said, we have variety of scriptures. We have not just one book to follow. Why? Because the longest time period we had so many great seers. See, darshan, seers. We do not have philosophers, we have seers. Seers means they have seen it, they are very clear about it. And everyone who saw expressed himself or herself. Those became our scriptures, our anthologies. And that's why we have such variety of darshan, because we feel that spirituality is a very natural process. Each individual is different. Each individual has different inclinations, interests, and you cannot generalize. Simple thing like food. Sitting here, if I say, what are we going to have for lunch? Immediately you will have different opinions. We can't come on one thing, right? Yes, after a discussion, we may say, okay, today lunch this, but then in the evening we'll have something different. If we don't come on the same page for a simple thing like lunch, how can you have the entire spiritual path and you want everyone to follow the same thing? You are doing injustice to that, right? So the point, spiritual path, we value each individual's opinion. We value each individual's journey. And that is why we have so many different scriptures. Another thing, Nirav, let me tell you. Non-Sanatan ways of thought, I'm very precise in my selection of words. Non-Sanatan ways of life, ways of thinking, impose an ideology on their followers. And you cannot argue those books. Even if you try to do so, you will be, to the extent of, you'll be killed. You know that, right?
Yeah.
In Indian way of thinking, in Sanatan way of thinking, we welcome different ideas. Our Rishis said in the Veda, in Bhadra Sukta, Ano Bhadraha Kratavo Yantu Vishwataha. Let the noble thoughts come to us from all the world, from all around. That is our ideology. That is what we want to say. That we welcome ideas, we welcome good thoughts from everywhere. We are very open to ideas. Next, our Rishis say, let me tell you the name, Srimad Adi Shankaracharya says, even if Vedas say that the fire is cold, I am not going to agree to it, because my experience says that the fire is hot. Did you get what they want to say? Here the book is not final. Your experience is final. But your experience is not just at the stage where you are. You know, a person who has not even read any book, a person who has never tried to meditate, and the person who has never visited temple, a person who never has tried to understand what the Sanatan Dharma is and says, well, this is my experience. No, it's not going to work. But if you sincerely try to be on this path, then your experience has the supreme authority. Here the book is not final, your experience is final. So Sanatan Dharma is the most rational, most logical, most scientific and most result oriented darshan in the entire world. And that is why we have this variety of scriptures, because each one has the freedom to express. Sometimes we even see exactly contradicting opinions, but still we respect them as rishis. Why? Because he has some experience and he has a good purpose to serve the humanity. Clear?
Very nice. So, Guruji, all these people are trying to strive through, achieve certain things, certain goals. They set the goals very early. I've seen them amazingly. And they sometimes, they may not succeed enough. They may not get, because it's very competitive. In our Wake County, to get admission into good schools is very competitive, because there are some selective mechanisms, just like probably everywhere in the world. So how should we face those situations where we may not achieve the set goal? And what should we do to accept it and do some beyond that?
Yeah. Laliji, as I said, the last thing, satisfaction with the result. Please remember one thing, dear friends. Failure, so-called failure, not achieving what we want to, failure is never final until you fall a prey to it. I am rhyming those words, failure, final, fall a prey to it. Keep trying, and your efforts will always yield the desired results. When we say that I failed, the word fail is a negative term. What it actually means that our efforts were not sufficient. Maybe we need to put some more efforts. Maybe we need to expand our horizons sometimes. In the field of success, as I said, focus is important. And as the focus is important, sometimes the wide horizon is also. In a camera, you have close-up and wide angle both. Sometimes when the close-up doesn't work, you have to go a little wider. you have to think about other options too. And that may give you a better picture. Sometimes a very tight close-up is not considered a good picture, but little background, little here and there will increase the beauty of the picture. Atul Bhai will agree to that. He's a wonderful photographer. So, in the life also, beta, when you are stuck on one thing, and if that doesn't happen, then it means that you have to look for other avenues, and you will be successful there also. Failures are stepping stones. This reminds me of a wonderful anecdote of Edison, Thomas Alva Edison, who invented the bulb, electric bulb. I've been visiting this country since like 30 years. Many of you won't be of that age too. And
All of them.
yeah, Manoj bhai, yeah, includes you too. So, I was in New Jersey, and as you know, we have our maximum population in America, in New Jersey, Indian population, and that too in Edison. How many of you have visited Edison? Have you? None? You don't travel? Or you don't answer? You don't respond? Edison is a very popular Indian destination, or maybe that is the reason you don't go there, too many desis. And in Edison, we have that Oak Tree Road, where most of the Indian shops initially, now such Edison and the centers have become everywhere, maybe in Raleigh also some Indian shopping, typical Indian. But initially we used to have this Edison desis. This reminds me, there are some apartment complex, and those supervisors of those apartment, American supervisors, Himanshu bhai, if a person comes from India and says that I want to rent an apartment here, the American supervisor will ask, which village? Typical Gujarati. And he will say, this village, Bhadran. Say, go wing number C. There are so many Bhadran people there. I mean, to that extent, the American supervisor also knows villages of India and which people say. And another thing is, if there is a fire in the apartment, this fire truck comes, they fire out of the oven or something, and they put out the fire, and they say, was it Handwo? That Handwa we make Gujaratis out because of that. So the American guy, he says, was it because of Handwo? Edison, I want to say. I was always curious that why this name of the town is Edison. And when I Googled, I came to know it is because Thomas Alva Edison used to stay there. Initially, it was all Jewish community. And then slowly, then the Greek people came in, and then slowly our Indians took over. There were hardly any Americans there. It's mostly all the houses you will find the Indian community. Good. I went there and I inquired, do we still have where Edison used to stay? Do you still have their home? They found out because nobody knew. Same thing happened with Einstein. Einstein used to stay in Princeton, New Jersey. Princeton University is very famous. I asked him, where is his home? Nobody knew. And there was this doctorate from our Indian company, Dr. Pankaj Mohan. He found out. I said, I want to visit his home. Do you know that his home was on sale for like 15 years ago? And then somebody came up that Einstein used to stay here. Please don't sell it off. At least let us preserve it. Let's make a museum. It's not made. Home is closed. Nobody is allowed inside. But good, it is not sold. At least people like us who are curious that such a great scientist was to stay here. I just went there. I sat on the steps for a few minutes because I respect scientists. I respect intellectual people. I respect whoever has made constructive contribution to this world. Edison is the town where Thomas Alva Edison used to stay. And most of our people do not know about it. When I say this in kathas, in my discourses in New Jersey, they say, is that so? Where do you go to Edison? You go to Edison only to eat pani puri? Or only to eat Indian food? Or Indian shopping? Edison is coming to your question. Edison was doing an experiment with his team of students, researchers. He failed for like 840 times. And every time they tried it, they catalog it, they noted that we have done this, we have not this. What is the result? Oh, we failed. We didn't get the desired result. We didn't get the desired result. After 840 failures, people from his team, Edison's team, said, sir, let's just forget about it. Let's go on something else. We are wasting time, we are wasting resources on this. We have failed 840 times, probably this is not meant to be. Let's use our resources and time for some other discovery. Edison smiled and says, no, dear friend, now we are very close to success because we have failed 840 times. That means we don't need to repeat those things. Now success is very close. And in next 3 or 4 experiments, they succeeded. They made this electric bulb. And today, now we have come on the LCD technology, LED technology, but electric bulb. Can we imagine our life without electric bulb? After the sunset, there's darkness and it's all over. You can't do anything. Maybe you light those gas lamps or kerosene lamps, oil lamps, as used to happen world over. It's such a big revolution, Edison. Failure is not a failure until you accept it as a failure. So any failure in life reinforces that you are on the path of success.
Very nicely said. Anybody has any questions? That's a fantastic thing. So we have to set it in our mind whether we are successful or not. Failure is just temporary. Okay. So anybody has any questions addition to that? I know Om knows a lot of Gita. So how do you do any rituals? Do you practice? How do you differentiate yourself as a Hindu? Do you do anything? You do? What do you do? Puja at home. But all these guys, Om is very busy. I know he studies, he plays, and most of you do the same. And they are representing various teams. So as a Sanatan student, do we really need to do puja?
Puja is basically an experiment, a process for strengthening your mind. How many of you do puja, by the way? Can you raise your hands? Oh, good number. That's very good.
Everyone.
Almost everyone. Yes, I'm happy. I'm good. Raleigh is unique.
Yeah.
Raleigh is unique.
These guys are
HSNC is unique.
really
Yeah. Especially the group that I'm facing today this morning. Anyway, puja is the process to focus our mind. It's basically a psychological experiment. Dear friends, remember one thing. Entire Murti Puja, I'm using the Sanskrit word, and for your understanding, if I want to translate it, idol worship, as people know it, the idol worship. Murti Puja, and sometimes people who do not understand the science behind it, they make fun of it. What are you doing? You are worshipping an idol? You are doing the same thing every day. You are saying the very same thing again and again. No. It's a psychological process. Remember one thing. In order to be successful, A. In order to enjoy the pleasures of life, B. In order to make your relationships work, in order to make our life meaningful, the most important thing is, it's all here. The mind has to be strong. Because We are what our thoughts are. We are what our perceptions are. And it is the mind who perceives objects, people, situations, thoughts. A strong mind can do anything, and a weak mind can fail at every step. Puja, Murti Puja especially, is the training of mind. What is the sign of a strong mind? A sign of a strong mind is which can stand, which can concentrate, which can be focused. Unsteadiness is a sign of weakness. See, a strong person, a fit person, if you tell him to stand, have you seen the training of the soldiers, army men? They will stand like statue. In Britain, in London, out of this palace, Buckingham Palace, there are those bobbies, police. Have you seen that? You must have probably. If they stand there like a statue. I've been there, I've seen them. And I've seen that when they change the duty after a couple hours or a few hours. That's when you realize, oh, he's a person. Because when he's standing, he stands still. He doesn't even move. What does this show? Standing still is training, strength. And those who are weak, say after age of 60, 65, 70, if you tell them to stand, no, we cannot stand. We need to sit. And even they cannot sit for a long time. They will do this, they will do that, they will go out, they will do. Have you seen people doing this? They're so restless. It also shows weakness. Weakness of not just the body, but the weakness of mind. We have sympathy for such people. Poor things, they are weak. A strong person has a steadiness. So a strong mind needs to be steady. But the problem with mind is always wavering. It is so difficult to focus mind. I'll tell you a simple example. You must be going for a movie in theater. Initially, when you go in the theater, what do you see? A white screen in front of you. And when you see the white screen, what do? You talk, you chat, you have that cold drink, soda, popcorn probably. And when the movie starts, you focus. Hey, listen, the movie has started. Movie is interesting. Then there is an intermission. You have intermission? Intervals? Okay, when you have an intermission. Now again there is a white screen. So you start talking, hey, oh, the movie is good. If it is a suspense movie, whom do you think? Who can be the culprit? Who can be this? After about 10 minutes of intermission, again the movie starts, you are focused. Did you notice? There were two things. You were looking in the same direction, but when there was white screen, you were restless. Your mind was wandering. And when the movie started, your mind is focused. Coming to the psychological terminology, these are two things, the object and the observer. Principle is, if the object is steady, the observer is moving. The observer's mind wanders. And if the object is moving, the observer is steady. Clear? Because when there's a movie, there's a music, there's a storyline, there's something happening over there. So the object is moving, the observer is still. When we do puja, our purpose is to focus the mind. But the point with is, the murti, the idol, is steady. So most people find during the puja or worship or meditation that mind wanders. We try to focus our mind, but it doesn't. So our great seers, they understood this psychological principle. They offered us this process of puja. And when we do puja, what we do? We create our movie with God. I am giving a bath to God. I am offering wonderful clothing to God. I am putting a tika. I am offering garland. I am offering food. My God is eating now. Then I am doing arti. I am doing pradakshina. What is this? You are creating movie with God. Because now you are doing something, so the mind is focused. Again, it is the tendency of mind. You worship, you did this puja for a week or 15 days or a month, and then I know what is in. Mind has a tendency, when you do it something regularly, it becomes mechanical. And when things become mechanical, mind goes away from it. Then you don't need mind there. When you learn driving, you are all young, right? When you learn driving, you are so attentive. Steering, gas, brake, rear view mirror, side view mirror, road, signs. You are so attentive. And even if someone talks behind, hey, shut up, I'm driving. Your entire focus is on, because it is a new thing to you. But after about year, couple years, 5 years, 10 years, you know it. Then you don't need to pay attention. You are not stressed about it. You know where the accelerator is, where your gas is, where the brake is. Even you play music, you don't even hold your steering with 2 hands, you just, hey. Why? Now it has become mechanical. But again, if you go to a new place, some new terrain, you'll be again attentive because the road is new. Let me see, I don't want to miss the exit. I want to. But if you're regular, your office to home, your business to home, you know every inch of the road. You don't need to pay attention. So this is the tendency of mind. Whatever becomes mechanical, the mind goes away from it. Don't make puja mechanical. And in order that puja doesn't become mechanical, we created festivals. That during various period of the year, we have this puja, we have the different type of puja, we offer different type of clothing to God, we offer different type of food to God. We celebrate in different ways, so it becomes interesting. This is why puja is basically an psychological experiment to focus and strengthen the mind.
Wonderful. I think like this is a real secret for the success, isn't it? Meaning we understood the spelling secret, we understood we need the focus. And then why and how we can practice focus is by doing some rituals like puja. If you can, definitely should do. One last question I would like to know is like many times, like let me confess, all elders here also have a lot of hard time doing focus, concentration. It's not easy. It's a life journey. If you are starting early, so you have a great chance to practice it. And as Guruji said, that if you practice it, you will succeed. We are unfortunately learning that lessons pretty late in our life. One more thing though, all of us feel vulnerable. Adults, young, every time, sometimes we feel weak in our determination, in our day-to-day life. Sometimes we feel that, okay, I'm lost. I'm losing here. And those weak moments of mind, what should we do? How should we remind ourselves? Because common people like these are a little more intelligent.
Lalitji, I wish I had a very brief answer to this, but there is not such a brief answer. It is, if I go into the detail, it will take at least an hour. So I think we should pause because I can see the faces here.
Yeah.
You are interested. So we may do it some.
Any last questions? Anybody has any questions?
Yes, beta Nirav.
Yeah.
What about like when you feel like you're concentrated, when you feel like you're like in your best self, how do you like stay that way? How do you prevent like going like in the opposite direction or like falling off a little bit?
Nirav, as I said earlier, beta, if you understand the value of it, if you understand the importance of it, and if you realize the losses you may occur by going the other way around or not focusing yourself. So, when you focus, you arrive, you feel arrived. Do you want to waste those efforts now? No, you don't want to. Once you understand the importance of it, and secondly, once you start enjoying your journey and your proximity to your destination, obviously the chances of faltering will reduce. So you constantly have to remind yourself that I don't want to waste the efforts that I have put in for such a long time for small pleasures or small attractions in life. What I'm doing and what I'm going to achieve is much more valuable than such small attractions. And it is called, in Vedanta, it is called vivek, discretion. And this vivek, the understanding of the right and the wrong, sometimes it is not as clear as black and white. The confusion is usually when it is an extension of gray. Things are not do's and don'ts. No, sometimes you feel good about it. Well, you are attracted towards it. But then you have to explain yourself that I don't want to waste my efforts. I want to be on the right paths. And that will keep you going.
I understand.
Right? It was great talking to you guys this morning, Sunday morning. Happy Father's Day to your fathers for having such wonderful kids. Youth, not just kids. And we have our discourses. Those of you who understand Gujarati and Hindi language can join us for discourse in the evening between 6, from 6 to, we do serve prasad. Very tasty, I have heard, very tasty Indian food, though I have not tasted it yet, but very tasty Indian food from 5 to 6, followed by discourse on Srimad Bhagavat. Lot of your questions will be answered during this katha, and I am sure you will understand a lot. Again, great morning with you. Good luck to you all. Lot of blessings to you all. Thank you.
One small thing, we have one Srinivas Joshi. He conducts for years and years camps for youth.
Good.
And
Srinivas.
Really laudable efforts he does. And
we have Amit also, right? Amit, I saw him coming in. He teaches Gita.
last year we did a Gita quiz here. The prize was $25,000.
That's great. Wow.
And this was done by Hindu University of America, and it was done here. And Amit teaches Gita to
Namaskar.
A lot of kids here are reciting Gita.
I heard this guy, 16th chapter is not very common, and the pronunciation was pretty clear.
Dozen kids know it by heart.
They did the 16th chapter last year, and now they are on 17th.
Good. You started with 16th chapter?
Yeah. Yes, for the kids
Amit?
started with 16th chapter, and now we are teaching 17th chapter.
Good.
So 16th chapter.
16th chapter is Devasu Sampad Vibhag Yoga, divine qualities and demonic qualities. And now 17th chapter is Shraddhatraya Vibhag Yoga. There are 3 types of faiths, Sattvic, Rajasi and Tamasi. In fact, these chapters are very important if you study and if you ponder on it. That itself will give you so much clarity on life. That am I on the right path? Am I doing the things?
When the kids, they learn Gita for the 16th Adhyay, what they did is they took each shloka and they did like a project on that, so to answer its meaning, and so we had discussion on various shlokas. So it was not just reciting, but towards
Understanding. That's very important, yes. Because at this age, mere reciting won't work. For kids, you can say they're just, reciting or parroting. But they are intelligent people, so they need to think about it and they need to implement it in life. The best stanza, what is your name, beta? Aryan. The best stanza in the 16th chapter, I feel, is when Sri Krishna says, Arjuna, Ma shucha sampadam daivim abhijatosi pandava. You remember that? Don't worry, you are born with divine qualities. Such a great thing when Krishna says us, tells us, Parth, we are all representative, we are all, I mean, Arjuna is representative of us all. So Krishna is telling us, Ma Shuchasam, don't worry, even with failures, even with little setbacks in life, you are born with divine qualities. Sampadam daivim abhijatosi Pandava. And when Sri Krishna reminds us that we are born with divine qualities, now we have to ask ourselves, am I nurturing those divine qualities? Am I being on this path? And if I am, that's the attitude of studying 16th and 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I'm sure Amit you are doing on the same track.
Yeah,
Yes.
Not as eloquently as you, but something similar. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can we all please get behind the Guruji and take a picture?
Take a
Yes, sure.
And on behalf of HSNC and HSNC Home Squad, we really thank Guruji for this session. And Home Squad is here just to, lead HSNC in the future. Thank you. Thank you, Guruji.
Pleasant being yours. Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki jai. Shri Lakshmi Narayana Deva ki jai.
Namaste, my name is Oasis Nipain Nilpane, and today Guruji taught me about the steps to success, and I believe that I'll imply what he taught me, and I really learned a lot today, and I had a great time. He was a wonderful person. He was always smiling, laughing. I loved his antidotes, and I just think I learned a lot, and I grew as a person. Namaste. Thank you.
What is your full name?
Aryan Tiwari.
And you're living where?
Kerry NC.
How did you like today's session?
It was
Guruji's?
nice. It was nice. I learned a lot from it.
What was your favorite part of the session?
Like learning how to concentrate and stay keep on going and never give up.
My name is Nirav. Today at the HSNC temple, we attended a talk session where we learned about how to be successful, the different methods we can employ, as well as other information about our Hindu religion. So I think my favorite part about it today was certainly learning about how to interpret failure correctly, rather than, because for me I've always thought failure of literally as it is failure, that you failed, that you can't really do much about it. But this session, we talked about it's not really failure until you've accepted that it's failure, and I believe that part was really interesting. Additionally, today's session was really informative. I got to learn a lot more about my religion and its values, and how it values diversity of thought as opposed to other religions.
On behalf of HSNC, I thank Pujyashree for coming to the HSNC hall and encouraging kids to one-on-one participate in the program. And all the kids benefited from this, and the adults as well. We would love to see the youth here more, and that's why Home Squad is going on, and that's why we carry on sessions like this. Please follow Guruji online, PujyaShreeBhai on YouTube, and please subscribe to the channel, and you will get the live link every day, not just here, everywhere he hosts. Jai Shri Krishna.